halftime report. Big Daddy Randy Allen back with you, and I have with me our head volleyball coach for Lyon College Volleyball, Coach Ray Green. Sir, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Well, absolutely, sir. Now, Ray, you've been at Lyon College for quite some time. How many seasons have you been here?
This is now my 11th season, so moved here in 2008. August 2nd was the first day, I guess.
Looking back over the years, and it's hard sometimes to compare different squads over the years and things, and you never know who's listening. You might not want to hurt some feelings. I'm not saying that we're going to do that, but if you look across the board as to some of the best people that were in some of those teams, who comes to mind?
I mean, right off the top of my head, Katie Beinecke. She was an All-American. Really, that first group was awesome. You had Katie Beinecke, Megan LeBourne, you had Julie LC from Westside High School, Crystal, Leah Eifling, and Ann Sullivan. I don't think I'm missing anyone. Was that 9? We had 8 or 9 that year. Did I just name them all?
I wasn't counting, so I don't know.
It's just crazy because I don't know that I can remember every team just like
Well, it was
that.
11 years ago. I mean,
yeah,
as far as that first one was.
Yeah, that was a great team, and I remember upsetting Freed Hardman in the tournament. They were the #1 seed. I think that year they were receiving votes possibly. So that was a big group for us. So and Ashley, we had Ashley Davis from Memphis, and I think that makes 9. So yeah, it was awesome. So we've had some great athletes come through. Most recently we had Emily Sprigg and Katarina Frickleton, our big impact players for our program. Every year we bring in a good group of kids, and we've been growing ever since 2008, getting better and better. When we were in the Trans South, we recruited to win that conference, and by the time we got out of the Trans South, we were one of the top teams. And then we moved to the AMC, which is a little bit different animal, American Midwest Conference. Currently, what do we have? Currently, we have the #1 team in the country, the #3 team in the country, and the #9 team.
Competition kind of stepped up.
Yeah, just a little bit, and one of the teams, Willem Woods, is receiving votes, so it's quite a tough task. But over the past, I guess we've been in here maybe our 5th season or 6th season. But we're now competing. Last year we finished 5th, which was the highest finish we've had in this conference. Took some sets from people we've never taken sets from, beat some teams we've never beaten before. So we're moving along, and hopefully this year we're gonna put ourselves in a good position to maybe compete for a final or semifinal appearance, maybe who knows, maybe a national championship tournament appearance. It's always my goal.
Now you mentioned recruiting for the Trans South, and now you're in a new conference. So depending on your competition that you're playing, looking forward into the future, how has your recruiting philosophy changed?
So certainly this conference is a lot. The players are a lot more physical. So yeah, taller kids, faster, jump higher. So we had to change. And we were always recruited athletic kids, but now instead of the 5'8" athletic kid, maybe the 5'10" athletic kid is a little bit better fit for this conference. How high they're touching the kids in the Trans South, I thought we were good with kids that were touching 9'2", 9'3". Now the kids we want outside hitters to be touching 9'4", 9'6". So really that's probably the biggest difference, is the physicality has changed. It's a little bit faster. So and if you watch us play, like you watch video of us this past weekend versus video 5 years ago, certainly 11 years ago, we're a completely different team, a lot faster.
Right.
We beat the ball a little bit harder.
The volleyball, I guess, culture around here is pretty high. I mean, you talk about Brooklyn, Valley View, Batesville's got a good volleyball pedigree too. So how much of your recruiting is right here locally?
Gosh, we recruit a lot locally. We hit up all those schools you just mentioned. It's important, I think, to have in a smaller school. I think it's important to have kids from the region. Unfortunately, kids always want to go away from home, so we always battle that. But the region is so deep. You got multiple players in each of those programs you mentioned, and other programs that you always can find a kid that wants to stay close. Maybe some of the kids are a little smaller than maybe ASU wants or U of A wants, and so they're looking for other options, and we're right there.
We also have to think about the academic prowess too, because Lyon,
Yes.
I mean, the academics is pretty high on their priority.
Yes, yeah, definitely. We recruit. That's a big thing. You know, ACT scores, GPAs. That's a big thing for us. And I feel like as well, you bring in kids who are academically solid, high-end academic kids. I don't know, they're easier to deal with. They usually know how to budget their time already. There's no.
You don't have to explain the details either.
No, they get it. You can have some good conversations. Like what, you know, it's funny. It's going back to the type of kids we recruit now and how it's changed. A few years ago, we sat down. Jen and I sat down and started talking about what kind of kids we want to bring in, and instead of just looking for that 6'5" monster, you know, we started talking about personality a little bit. You know, what they're like. You know, can I sit down and drink a cup of coffee with them or not? And really, it's almost where it comes down to. If I can sit down and have a cup of coffee with you and talk about volleyball and talk about life, and it's a fun conversation, then you know, then I'm going to be interested. Obviously, you better be able to serve the ball over the net,
right.
Set and hit, all that stuff. But it's important because we want to. A few years ago, we had a group of kids in here that really started changing the culture of the program and built it to what it is right now. Our culture is awesome. There's not. I mean, I'm not around 24/7, but I don't feel like there's a lot of drama. I feel like it's a pretty mature group of kids. They set some good examples for the young kids that come in. So I'm pretty, you know, it makes my life easier. I don't have to deal with issues. You know, academically they're solid. Maybe the best group we've had academically last year. We were all academic team for the NAIA and for the ABCA. Cool. So it's, you know, it's awesome.
Let's take a quick 2-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll talk about this season. You've been on the road for quite some time, and we're looking at a homestand coming up too, so we'll talk about that here right after this 2-minute timeout. Welcome back to Lyon College Halftime Report. Visiting with the head volleyball coach, Coach Ray Green, now in his 11th season here at Lyon College. And Coach, it seems like you've been out on the road forever. Of course, you haven't had really a home game yet.
That is correct. I mean, we had a couple scrimmages. Yeah, we've been sleeping in a lot of hotel beds.
Riding that bus a lot.
Yes. So, but we will be getting back here. The 21st is our first home match against.
So just next week.
Yeah, next week. Play William Woods, so that'll be the second weekend for conference play. But yeah, we scheduled a few early season tournaments. We're playing a lot of teams that we've never played before. Competition's a little bit higher than how we've started in the past, and I think I mean, our conference is so tough, we need to see it before we actually get into our conference play. So this past weekend up at Evangel University's tournament, we saw 4 teams that were fantastic, and you know, it's been good. It's real good to see that type of competition.
How did the girls and the team respond to the upper class competition?
I think pretty well. Evangel might have surprised us a bit. They came out, what's the saying, on all cylinders, you know, and just were very good. They were very good. A little bit bigger than we are, and so I'm glad we saw it now, because this weekend when we get into Missouri Baptist, they're going to be a bit bigger than we are. So now we'll have seen it. College of the Ozarks is super fast. We played them. We were able to go to 4, so we took a set off a great team, and so that was good. And then the next day we played Tabor, which is, of all the teams, I thought they were going to be the hardest, because they were a very, very physical team, and we beat them in 5, so we showed a lot of tenacity, and we matched up what we lacked in maybe there in comparing size-wise. We made up with speed and disciplined defense, great blocking and serving. And then the last team, Judson, was they had a middle that was, I don't know, man. Where can we get one of those? You know, she was like 6'2". Yeah, she was like 6'2", hitting the ball like, you know, just high level play, and it was great. You know, So I think that type of stuff prepares us for our conference play.
AMC conference play going on this weekend. Of course, we recorded this interview earlier this week on Wednesday, so you're actually on the road playing this weekend, looking into conference season, and of course coming home. The first home game will be on Friday the 21st there at Becknell Gym. But looking into the conference season, who do you think is going to give you the most trouble?
Certainly the top three. Columbia or Park is ranked #1 right now in the country. Columbia's #3, and Missouri Baptist, who we opened up with, they're ranked #9, and then William Woods is receiving votes. So our first 2 weekends of conference play, we got 3 of the top 25, 30 teams in the country. So those will all give us a lot of headaches, and then in the middle there, here we are, and Freed Hardman's always tough. I mean, I feel like we play Freed the 5 every single year. So yeah, you know, those teams will all be difficult there. I'm hoping that I think the William Woods match, I think will match up well this year. So we'll see how the ball bounces there. And those top 3 teams, we need to play really, really well and be real disciplined about our blocking schemes, and be willing to take chances from the end line. I think as long as we're go out and just beat the ball and keep the pressure on them as much as we can, then I think we can give ourselves a chance to come out with a win.
Real quick here, talk about some of your leadership on the team right now. Who are some of the girls that you lean on?
Well, our 3 captains are it's a funny little mix of captains. We typically have 2, but it's the first time we've had a tie, and so I think that shows a lot, that there are a lot of girls on the team that are respected and looked up to. So we have 3. It's Kendra Kelly, who's a local graduate from Baseball High School, and Michaela Shanks from Missouri, and Catherine Jean. The 3 of them, let's see, what do we have? One's a senior, a redshirt senior, one's a junior, and one's a sophomore. So you have pretty much everything represented. They all have different personalities, different leadership skills.
So it kind of talks about a little bit of the diversity amongst your team too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's neat because the 3 different personalities, you roll them up into one, and they make one fantastic captain. If that makes sense. The kids really respect them, and there's no, I don't know, sometimes you get captains that are a little overbearing. These 3 are like mellow.
Pretty good team all the way across the board.
Yeah, so the kids don't like that, and they communicate with me really well. So that's a big part of any team, right? Any group setting, you
Absolutely.
have to have a communication. If you don't have that, it breaks down. It does not break down on our team. It's very good.
Friday the 21st, the Becknell Gym. What time do you start? What's first serve?
21st, 7 o'clock.
So come on out and support our Lyon College volleyball women playing in conference play. Then, of course, if you want a full schedule, want to check out the roster and see Coach Green and his staff and everybody, LionScots.com as well. Good luck this weekend and looking into the conference season, Coach.
Thank you. Come watch us play. Go Scots.
We'll be back after this next 2-minute timeout. Stay tuned.